Alright, I'm gonna go over map 1 of Atlanta Faze versus Optic, Texas. Feel like this is obviously a good map to go over from last major. It was one of the better maps of the year. Opening gonna go standard. You see Salim do a lot of this where he's getting info street, watching out. In this case, you're gonna have Shotzi gonna try and find a gap here. The goal is to put some cutting pressure on Faze's like blue and hull here, and if you get enough dead, then this player can fill through. You can flip them out back here so that you have spawns for next. Optic gonna just kind of stack heavy here. They're gonna have one player on trash can getting info, two players kind of play inside DVD. They get the first blood on a BZ. Faze have a good amount of bodies here though, so after the street engagement kind of ends and the info is done, Shotzi's pushed up. The guy on trash can is going to come back, so it's effectively a 3v3 for time. But yeah, but Shotzi does get that initial kill, and he's going to kind of fill blue here. And for whatever reason, that's going to spawn a BZ here, possibly because Simp is on the side of the hill where these spawns are. It's not super normal, but yeah, you have to be careful how you collapse on this hill and how you position yourself. And yeah, Faze are going to spawn out. So these spawns are contested over here, which is why, well, Optic should kind of spawn here, but now that these spawns are cleared up, if an Optic player had died, they probably would have spawned just straight P2, like in the middle. Hey, Optic collapsed on that hill, but they have to be super careful. Because exactly what Faze just did could happen to them, where they could kind of overextend and then spawn Faze behind them in this case. There's a lot of weird blocks for these P1 spawns, which also happen to be the P4 spawns. So they're spawning close. That's going to be Shotzi spawning close street. He's going to go for the cut instead of trying to race for P2 spawns. I think that might be a mistake. And now you have Faze, yeah, getting all four, and now they just flipped you back. You were in a great position if you're Optic, but it didn't work out.
Can you continue to spawn out Optic deep? So far, they're winning all the fights. Dashy is able to get one entry.
So Draza, you saw, was playing Burger here. He was watching the cross, playing for the timings where these players would have been on his screen, basically. He thinks nobody could possibly, like, somebody would have to be late hitting something, essentially, for him not to have spotted everything he needs to see. In reality, Huke is behind him, and Huke can slip here. So they know Draza's here. Draza's taking this engagement. Huke can slip and trust his teammates to get this kill. And he doesn't. And that shooting right there is going to cause Faze up top to instantly turn. So what happens is if Draws goes down to, say, Dashy here, and then he sees Dashy in the death cam going towards blue or not hitting out street, then he tells his teammates he'll tell his teammates they're not going street. But since Huke just killed you, hitting a long route, like, and you see him running that way, well, now you know. I think if Huke leaves him, it's much better. He had two teammates there. They should have been able to work Draws out. And now, ooh. Optic are both in positions here where this is where you play if you want the other team to spawn in the back towards the end of the hill. And then Abizi is blocking, so this back spawn is contested. Number 5 is here. This seems like a perfect situation where you're gonna get a useless spawn off the first player who died. So Mercules might spawn useless here. It's one of those rare, like, not super rare actually, not rare enough, but situations where there's just no one to spawn. Yeah, and he does spawn useless. He should spawn here, but he spawns useless. And now, because oh, who is this? Whoever was in the back for Optic went down. Immediately a Faze player spawns exactly where that engagement just went down, even though Merc is useless. It's, yeah. If you think pros just complain just to complain, no, these maps are terrible. I mean, way worse than anything we've ever had. Besides maybe Vanguard, but Vanguard at least had Tuscan.
Strong chance to take this opening map. Here comes the next big push from Atlanta Faze. 2 for 2 so far until Mercules, the difference maker. Optic will get this time. Faze will try to set up for next and just get kills and transition.
Here.
Try to cut
Sorry, I'm
off.
like lean back in my chair like a freak right now. Like an absolute demon right now.
90% hold.
Yeah.
They were known for their rotations early in the year, but then it got away from them.
Okay, so going into this, you have to be worried if you're Faze about Optic OEing for spawns off the initial break. This hill generally comes down to one thing. You want spawns for next hill, so you always have to have a player invested in blocking that. That means you're man down on the front hit, but you can get players off time through bush, which you're closer to if you're on the good spawning side. And also mid control so that you can cut this hill is very important. So you have one here, one pushing up, basically one blocking, one pushing up kind of front time or trying to. Generally from the position where Abizi is from the outside of the bushes here. And then you try and get mid control. And then once you have mid control, this player can push up and kind of play off info. And then the player spawning close, Burger, kind of have trouble pushing up because this player blocking can assist by chowing inside of Burger. The player on time can also chow at any moment, and then you're being cut by 1 or 2 players mid. That's the ideal way to play it. Mid control generally dictates who is getting time. Optic have mid control. They're going to trade this. Nobody has it. Optic now have mid ambush. They're going to spawn a little funny. Shotzi's going to win that. Celium, I swear he just got triple stunned. And now Optic going to get clean dead. They're going to have clean mid control, good forward pressure. Dashy in a position. I believe Dashy's in a position here where he just blocked everything. How did that fucking happen? Celium just spawned back Burger. And you see both Shotzi and Huker turned for it. I think so. Dashy's playing this position on purpose, thinking he's blocking, but I think Optic believed that 3 Faze players should be spawning back Burger and not 1. So Dashy probably thinks he has a 1-on-1 here. Otherwise, the way they're playing this doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Yeah, and as soon as number 3 spawns here, that kind of confirms that, oh yeah, somebody spawned our close Burger here. Another 1v1 goes down. And you see Optic are so heavily invested in cutting off this Burger. I think they think everyone's Burger or some shit. Simp's going to get that too on front. Now he's going to get time. Faze have mid control and spawns now for the last 15.
I mean, this is a guy, he has a couple of rewinds under his belt this year that has literally won his team the game. The guy can drop 40 plus.
All right, so immediately Dashy's going to try and hit an outer route, or at least he's going to fake it. You see that Draza went to cut it off in the death cam. And Simp is going to be that guy pushing up, trying to take that space forward. Oh, he looks Simp looks awfully handsome today. And yeah, so you're going to have Draws taking this forward space, basically acting like an extra man for Faze. He's going to push up forward, and even if he dies, he's going to spawn back up and be in position by the time the same player who killed him is going to be, you know, in any reasonable spot to make a difference. So he's just taking as much space as possible. He's going to get 1 from top semi. These Optic players are both going to fill through gens. Okay, so Shotzi slipped through truck. Merc is wasting his time. And yeah, you see Shotzi just leaves him. I was going to say, Shotzi should just leave this kill straight behind him and just sneak through. Yeah, see, he doesn't know if he saw him. I think Draws might have seen him. Yeah, you see how he's looking this way heavily? He thinks that Shotzi's on him, bro. He's probably commenting that Shotzi's on him, but at the same time, he's about to just, like, piece your team up. Oh, now he doesn't get the angle on a Abizi. So Optic should get a clean break here. Just based off that good slip by Shotzi. Nah, but they're not going to be able to block. They're not going to be able to block. Even though you have this kind of cross pressure here, they just spawn him in the middle. So there's two. Spawns out. Yeah, they realize now that they don't have spawns. Yeah. It's kind of random. I don't know how this Sometimes people spawn out of this hill when they shouldn't. Sometimes the spawns are ridiculous. So now every spawn on the map is being blocked for Optic, or Optic is blocking every spawn on the map except the back one. So Faze, naturally, not to worry. So you see a BZ just immediately turn around here. Loses front. Now, going into next, it's important that you have this green crate block. This is the team that spawns green crate generally is favored on this hill until you can get a player pushed up and blocking it, and then spawning them over P2. So the spawn order on this side goes close crate, or back here semi-truck, or over here in the street, and then the very last priority spawn is down here, basically exactly where a BZ is. If you jump up on the semi or on these walls, or even kind of if you're bushes, you'll block both of these spawns here. And so if your team is spawning crates and you have a player in this forward position, any player on the other team that's going to be respawning is going to be respawning over here, pretty much where a BZ is.
Yeah, he was P3, right? Yeah, I have no idea where this
For next hill, not right now. P3 hasn't ended. It'll end soon.
I'm trying to hold your zig, bro. I have your help. I have your outer.
So yeah, you see that a BZ has slipped. They know they're looking for him. But he's going to catch Shotzzy, and now a BZ needs to play his life. He knows that only Shotzi's dead. That was the guy watching pinch. So Faze have this forward position. I would not be super surprised if Jaza tried to push through bush here. No. So I think that's going to be Shotzzy should spawn here, because I don't think anyone on Faze is blocking. And he does. Beautiful. Faze have a great collapse. They get the close crate spawns here. Now they get a little forward pressure. They still should spawn kind of in this area. Yeah, they even spawn street. Even though that Selim has this street pressure, they don't spawn down here, which is a little silly. So you have these close semi spawns, but nobody on Optic is able. They're not able to gain the tempo here they need. Optic just getting torn up right here. Pretty good. And now you see a BZ, or who is this? This is going to be Simp. He's going to push up here. This might influence the spawns. This might force this weird spawn over here. It does. Faze are actually unaware of it. Simp is kind of like backing up, back and forth, and I think he just caught the exact worst way. It's because if you walk out in the bush here, you actually have this angle where you can see street so quickly, even though you just saw that Optic spawned here, like deep street, even though Selim was right here on the semi. But I think for some reason it doesn't like the fact that Simp is so close to this glass angle, and it doesn't like spawning him here either to fill. Sometimes it'll spawn him like inside of P4, but I think that's only during P1s. Well, you see that. I don't see a lot of the P4 spawns. During this is P5, right? Am I mathing right? Yeah. You don't see the P4 spawns too frequently. Yeah, so this pinch actually is not expected. Shotzi's gonna end up getting 2, 3. Yeah, all because I'm pretty sure Simp just spawned that guy there. Didn't even realize he did it, I don't think, which I feel like you should be aware, but it's not. I can't 100% be on him.
Let's go to the comms with Faze.
Okay, so you have a very weird dynamic on the map right now. As soon as a BZ dies, yeah, that should be it. So now Optic have good side. They have time. They're going to leave their street open, and they're going to get two-pieced. Not even a shoulder, man. Not even a quick little shoulder. Can't let that happen. Now Shotzi gets caught on blue, and now another situation. I feel like a lot of the time I say Optic's in a really good spot here, and then it just falls apart immediately. And yeah, so they just spawned right in front of a BZ, these two spawners, but then the last spawner, which I think was Dashy, a BZ barely blocked to Dashy out of it. So Faze probably have no idea how many spawned where, but now he's going to spot 2, so they're going to assume that at least 2 are here back P2. Now Simp Simp was playing for that street spawn specifically. And as soon as he heard 2, he's like, oh, he probably wasn't blocking in time. But it was that split second thing. And yeah, he just 360'd fucking Dashy right there. But I mean, he's got a shotgun, okay? Don't yell at Dashy too much. Simp has a fucking shotgun. So Cell's just gonna be a bitch. A bitch to kill. Yeah, and so he's gonna OE here, and he's gonna kind of get in the back. Optic have 2 useless. Faze are all out. Celium needs to buy time. Stay up, stay up, stay up. Alright, so the cruise missile is gonna force him into yellow. Dashy here spent his time trying to shoot the cruise missile instead of checking his close street. You have first dead. You're winning the death order. You just need to make sure that nobody nobody pushes up and takes time. So Dashy should either be chowing this back hit here, or he should be swinging out front and making sure nobody's his close street. He should not be shooting at that cruise missile. The little baby cruise missiles that come out of the mama cruise missile, you're not going to shoot those down. You're the only guy that's outside. Obviously, one of them is coming for you. Like, why are you trying to shoot the cruise here, man? You see, he's dead before the cruise even explodes. Like, he got baby missiled. And now you have 1 you're useless, and Celium's holding the back, and 2 Optic players just turtled up. It's all going to come down to these street fights. He's going to get him a little weak. Yeah, Shotzi's actually going to go and play weird as fuck and get that forward kill on useless. That's pretty bad for Faze, because now Dashy could swing straight here and hold. Oh, he's actually going to die, though. I don't feel like he had to die. I don't feel like he had to do that much. So now we have Huke with another pinch, but nobody expects Cell. I think Cell's been alive this entire fucking hill. Just in the back, and just fighting for it for the last 40 seconds. Over 40 seconds. He's just sliding forward. Celium playing very slow here. So yeah, and now you have Huke on the other side. I was just watching Cell, and he's been here for 60 fucking seconds. And Optic had won that hill too. So now you have a useless spawn. You have spawns going in the new, thanks to Huke. 4 spawns old, and then 5 spawns deep burger. But Faze have a lot of forward pressure for these spawns. They're not blocking though, and 3's going to spawn street. That's going to be Mercules. They're going to turn around and play for anyone filling behind them through gens. That's going to be Shotzi. Shotzi's going to get 1. And he's going to effectively get 2. Merc's going to catch him looking the wrong way. And so this is 100% going great for Optic. Fantastic for Optic. So Dashy does a good job. You see how he's kind of forward there, and he realizes I need to buy time for my team. Need to help Shotzi kind of push up. I don't know what the fuck Shotzi's doing right now. I'm not going to lie to you. But Dashy finds himself in a forward position. He's like, I don't need to cut this hill. We control the hill. I'll let Shotzi cut the hill. I'll back up and hold front, get some vision, watch blue, and he was watching hole at the time. He gets 1 weak, repositions his angle, gets good damage down. Shotzi's going to refill now. But Faze have mid control. Mid control is how you get time on this hill.
Great shots into a couple, but not actually able to get the kill. And this is what I'm talking about, his ability to survive.
And Merc's going to lose that. It's not a tough gunfight. It's a 50-50 kind of. Now Faze heavily through burger. And Huke's going to kind of throw his life. Not really. And now Faze getting that mid control. They're going to be able to get a kill off that. Mercules in hell right now. He's just trying his hardest, man. But yeah. So Optic going to take their time, getting the man in the time, make sure you don't lose spawns.
And they have so much space to work with.
Up 20 and back into the point. They're finding kills in layers. They've got freedom towards the objective.
Yeah, and that's going to be Shotzi getting huge kills on the OE. Merc goes down in time, though. All right, Merc going down in time, that's not great. That's really not a good thing to do. That's a scam. But you're only going to lose like 5 seconds. Because Faze are going to try and take take space street. Merc's going to respawn, fill his happy little ass back into the hill. It's not a big deal, but it's kind of trolly. Yeah, he gets right back in the hill. But Shotzi goes down now, and you've lost all street control. You've lost 3 players. So big gunfight going down deep. If I had to guess, yeah, Optic's still gonna fucking spawn here, but you have Draza kind of behind you now. Merc's gonna get all 3.
Put them around over 200 points, but Faze probably the best P5 team in the game. We saw it on the first rotation. How chaotic this hill can be. This is their chance to get back.
Faze catch Shotzi owing street to try and get around and block that crate spawn. So you see how what a BZ did last time that worked out successfully? Now Faze have caught Shotzi trying to replicate that from the other end. Now Cell's just going to spawn street. Immediately he's going to spot Hugh. Optic are blocking too many different spawns right there. I think arguably Celium should have spawned up in maybe P2, but... And a BZ takes someone from behind. And that's really important because now Optic have that player who's taken from Dashies out of the play for like 12 seconds.
A 4 versus 3 for such a long time. And well, those first 20 seconds clean here for Faze. But now here comes the pressure from Optic Texas.
And Draws just jump shooting, one angle.
Get rid of those trophies. A close spawn, the contest is in. But as I said, it just feels like this
is busy with the pinch. He wanted to take Merc from behind there.
But instead he's gonna get Gunny up, able to chain that into 2. Not the third though, the movement. Fleeky there from Shotzi.
So Cell and Faze are just gonna win this hill. Optic have no overextension. You either have to win by pace and get a guy out front to block the close crate spawns, or just make it scrappy the whole time, which is kind of what Optic are trying to do, but not very successfully. Or you have to get a guy to go through elephant or mid, cut it, and then get the block off. Faze not overextending either though. Faze not pushing forward to try and spawn Optic a little further out either. So, and now you see the flip kind of coming. Close spawn was contested by these 2 players, kind of elephant. Faze just based off death order spawned out. Street. Now you're going into P1 spawns. P1, as you see, that you will spawn inside here on P1, and then on P5, you kind of never spawn inside. You either spawn here or out here or here. So that's just kind of the difference between those 2 things.
So now if you are Draza and the rest of Faze, you just want to keep him off this time. Draw a sub out. Well, he will flip those spawns. So Optic now just going to try to get as much as they can. Celium with some big kills, play in his life. Making them have to focus on him. Pook again, trying to take a route.
Simp trying to get that 2. Snaps a little off. Easy going to get 1.5. Cell should mop. Nope. He's going to die to an egg.
Massive life, but the hard point will be white for now.
Watch Hook again. He's going to try to find the timing through Burger. Celium going to try to watch.
Yeah, so these Huke overextensions and Shotzi overextensions have been a fair bit of their success. I still think on that first P2, if Huke doesn't shoot, then like that could go really, really good for them, or would have gone really well for Optic. But Huke's now blocking P2 with 10 seconds. He's going to be useless. So the spawns are going to be contested again, kind of like last P2. But Merc's going to be a little bit impatient there and try and cut. And then Huke's actually going to get a bad timing, and Shotzi's going to die on the OE. So Faze play for every player perfectly. It's a clean 4 dead. And now Faze, because you just killed 3 so quickly, you're going to be able to take space. Looks like 2 players are going to go down towards street, expecting Optic to spawn top street, kind of somewhere in this direction, even though you generally spawn bush. Is that going to be accurate? Yeah, they do spawn bush. But they're expecting Optic to fill through street here, so they're going to send 2 here. If you don't see any player street like relatively quickly, then Faze can refill and reflank blue, so that the guy on time doesn't have to worry about it. Number 7 is probably going to take space forward here. Maybe get into gens, maybe sit in a corner, who knows. Number 6 is just kind of alone on time, and his only threat is going to be his blue, maybe his elephant, depending on what's filled. The reason, if you spawn bush here and you want to go through street, one of the better things that you can do is just fill through middle and then pop out hole. Just fill through middle, pop out hole. That way you make these 2 players have to wait all that time to see you. And it's likely that maybe if one of them doesn't see you immediately on this deep trash can heady, they'll turn back. If not, both players might turn back. If you instead of which wouldn't occur if you had both filled through time here and shown them an empty lane for an extra 5 seconds.
Control will it be? The breaks have been brilliant for Optic Texas throughout.
So Optic going to go deep street here, and they're even going to get spotted now. So now Faze here are kind of confident. This is the second one you spotted. You spot one blue. Not an easy gunfight for Merc to win. Both these players are going to go down outside street. You still have an extra guy, Dashy. Now Draws is going to turn. Cell's going to spot him. And Abiz is going to take it from behind again, of course. Just take him out of the play forever.
This is going to put them around 240.
Can't win it though. Can't win it here. We're going to see another hard point. BZ 27 and 26 with some massive moments in this one.
Trade war out front. Faze winning everything. They're going to be able to... Ooh, they're not going to quite be able to flip here. Huke's going to spawn. Optic are going to spawn all the way out, though, because Cell is backed up in that position. Force spawn them in the back. P3 hasn't popped yet. Now it's going to be Simp in the back. Faze need 10 seconds, though, so next isn't going to make a big deal. They're going to let Simp win that gunfight with a sub? What? So BZ should win this. Now Optic spawning close. Once again, it largely comes down to mid-control as to who gets time off this. Faze don't have to be so worried about holding for next, but they know that it's very unlikely that Optic are going to win off this hill. Even if they dedicate a guy to blocking the entire time. And they have a cruise to work with as well.
There's the clearance on the point though. Simp trying to soak up time but can't stay alive.
Yeah. And Optic get that clean dead there. They need 13 seconds. 10 seconds. So yeah, it went pretty poorly for Faze right there. So you're going to kill the guy out of time. You're going to have 2 Optic players mid. Based off, you have info on those 2 players because of the Hellstorm. So Draza is going to play to kill the guys trying to cut here. And that's going to be Mercules pushing out to try and, it looks like, get the time. I feel like Merc is better off right there just continuing to cut. Shotzi now in a good position to clean Draws up. Draws knows that there should be a second guy in middle. So he's immediately going to turn and watch his bush because it wouldn't make sense for him to be anywhere else. Shotzi going to win a huge gunfight. That's going to open up this angle onto, who is this? 7. Simp. But then Simp's going to mob. No, Simp's going to actually slip. So Shotzi just barely, I think while he's reloading or something, lets Simp slip here. Simp's going to get 1 front, 2 front. Shotzi, like, milliseconds away from killing him before Simp gets the second. And then now Abizi's hitting the outer route, so Shotzi can't cut it from bush. Or this is Draza hitting the outer route because Shotzi just can't do anything about it. And now even Abizi's going on the outer route. And so what happens to Dashy here is that he's right next to this curb on the ground. He's prone there. And when he's holding on to his left stick so that you get rotational aim assist, right? But when he goes out of ADS, he crawls forward quickly. He pops up on that curve and his aim goes high. It's not that he's like whiffing shots that bad. It's just because of how the movement kind of works. He just popped up on an object and it threw his aim off. And now Abizi's going to get 3 out that outer route. And Dashy could have done something about that, you know, but I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say it's his fault. Stuff like that's going to happen. All right. One of the better maps of the year. It was kind of really trolly now that I went back. But still, good map. And a great series out of both teams as well. So we'll see how they improve, and I'm out.